So welcome to the Edge of Next podcast, and my guest today is Derek Cheshire. Over to you, Derek.
Well, what's going to happen what's coming next? Well, one of the things that I've firmly believed for a while is the organisational structure of the future is going to be a little bit, as I call it, a bit like croutons in soup. So we're going to have a flat organisational structure, but I think this crisis is going to make that possibly much flatter than it was, and also in such a structure, you find that the lines of what you used to think of lines of control, lines of communication, become almost identical to the lines of communication that we'd use in social media. There are such a thing as social media maps where you look at interactions between people, and you will find that the important people would have lots of lines going into them because they're the sources of knowledge. So I think we're going to have the soup structure. The management might be the croutons floating about in it. Everybody else will also be floating about in it, and importance will not be down to the thickness of the pile of your carpet or the size of your desk. It will probably be down to what you know.
I have to ask a supplementary question linked to that, Derek, because that's a very interesting and quite funny little metaphor. I've now got soup buzzing around my head.
Indeed.
Yeah, but can I ask, in terms of the world being structured around what you know, how would that work in organisations? Have you thought about that? I mean, obviously it's a big question, that, but how do you think it could work?
You could go through all the different types of organisation, but if you take, I don't know, say an electronics or a software company, I mean, they're fairly current these days. We've often had people, the guys who start companies end up in the boardroom. They know about technology, they know about electronics, they know about software. They know absolutely nothing about management, the company's founder, whatever. So I think you'll see more of people doing what they're best at. So those entrepreneurs, those starters, those inventors will probably stay pretty much where they were. Yeah. But if they're good at starting, they're good at inventing, then they increase their knowledge, they increase their worth, and they increase their salary. But the croutons that are floating about, and I say croutons quite carefully, that's not anything else. These management people,
yes,
they will be people who are very good at managing, or they'll be very good at leading. There are people who are brilliant at these things and absolutely terrible at the things that the other people do. So yes. Management leadership will be a skill. It won't be a position.
Ah, right. Okay.
So you have skills, you have knowledge. You advance yourself, if you like, through that, rather than just being promoted because you know the boss's daughter or something.
Yes. So if I could stretch your idea, and maybe I'm thinking too much in a certain direction, but would that mean that a leader would become like a member of the gig economy? So rather than being in one company, would they jump around like perhaps consultants do these days? Or
they could do. It's entirely possible, for instance, that, when you think of consultants or contractors, you could particularly if you were in one area. I'm going back to the electronics thing again. Imagine somebody who was very good at that sort of thing. You'd obviously have to be careful with, disclosing secrets and things. But it's entirely possible that people could, go between Google, between an electronics company, say Samsung, and someone else, yes, and actually coordinate or lead on things that are in. So there could be, and this is where things potentially break down. Not break down, but the problems lie, because you end up talking about collaboration, and then now people are talking about the end of globalization because of the coronavirus. So it's an interesting. I don't see how globalization can come to an end, because it means each company has to have security, food security in the supply chain, and be doing everything itself, and nobody is self-sufficient.
Yeah. It
And if
does
everybody
create a
was
bit of paradox.
and if everybody was self-sufficient, how would you make money out of other countries around the world?
Yeah.
So I think there is the scope. If you think of perhaps, I don't know, a good example, although without the bureaucracy, might be, say, one of the United Nations umbrella organisations or something like that, possibly.
I've now got Star Trek going through my head for some reason, the United Federation of Countries or something. Or
Indeed. Well, if you mix all that up, you've got the final frontier, you've got soup with croutons. So if anybody makes sense of this video, good luck to them.
Well, Derek, that's been a great contribution to the Edge of Next. If you want to watch this video or hear other videos, please go to www.edgeofnext.com or look on iTunes for the podcast Edge of Next. My name is Scott MacArthur. Thank you very much, Derek Cheshire.